Welcome everyone to HAMSCI Workshop 2019 on the campus of Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio, hosted cheerfully and graciously by the Case Amateur Radio Club, W8EDU of Case Western Reserve University. I'm David Kazdan, I'm the faculty advisor of the club. It's a pleasure to see everyone and really welcome to the campus. For very first opening remarks, we have our representative from the dean's office who just escaped. Where'd you go? Okay. Oh, there you are, sorry. You know, in that dark jacket, you kind of fade into the background. I'd like to introduce Jim McGuffin, who is a shortwave listener of your and will be an amateur radio operator in the near future, I hope.
Yeah. So Dave is nothing if not passionate. So I am an associate dean in the School of Engineering. I spent the last 3 months as the interim department chair for electrical engineering and computer science, and so I must have run into Dave once a week. And he pointed out when the next exam was coming up. But it's really, really impressive to see the passion that he has, and really to see what's evident in terms of the passion of everybody who's here. I looked at the speaker list alone, has 15 states listed there. So this is really impressive. So I'm delighted to welcome you on behalf of the whole university, on behalf of the School of Engineering. Our dean is overseas recruiting students, or he would be here himself. I thought I'd take a minute, since there's a diverse crowd, and just show a couple of factual slides about the university. So if I do this, and this, maybe. Am I up? Yep. So there's a series of slides. There's not too many facts. The slides are chosen to sort of offset the snow that's falling down outside, kind of prove that there is summer some of the time. We are in Cleveland, which is a really interesting area. So Cleveland, the metropolitan area, is about 2 million people. And if you take a circle that's 500 miles in radius, 500 miles in radius, you'll find half of the people who live in the United States and a significant number of Canadians. And it really is, the slogan used to be the heart of it all, but there's a lot of different connections that take place between the university and the surrounding region that really makes it a fun place to work as a faculty member. We're very much a mid-sized, private, research-driven school. We trace our roots back to Western Reserve, which is older than Case Institute of Technology by about 75 years. So Case Institute of Technology started in the late 1800s, 1890s, and then we merged 51 years ago. So we had our 50th anniversary of becoming the comprehensive university. We're about 5,100 undergraduate students spread across the university, and we have about half of that again in terms of graduate student and professional students. And so we have 5 professional schools in addition to the schools that have both undergraduate and graduate programs. On a typical year, we will have somebody from every one of the 50 states in the US, and a lot of students coming from a lot of different countries. So it's about 10% international students moving towards 15, but it represents a very broad cross-section of the world, which is kind of fun as well. I mentioned engineering is one of a number of different schools. They're listed here. It's a pretty standard set, but there's a lot of collaboration, and that's one of the things I really love about being at Case. So the connections between the School of Law and Arts and Sciences and Engineering is very close, and you'll see evidence of that, I think, at the dinner tomorrow night. Is at ThinkBox, right? Yeah. So if you look at engineering, we're an unusually large proportion of the student base for a typical university. We're about 40 to 45% of the undergraduate students. And we are substantial in terms of masters. Like a lot of schools, we've really grown our master's program over the last 5 years. And every department is a research active department with a strong PhD program. We had 3,000 faculty listed earlier. About 2,000 of those are affiliated with a medical school. And then the rest of them are broken out into the on-campus. Engineering's a little bit over 125 now, actually, different faculty. It gives us a very nice student-to-faculty ratio. We have a broad number of majors. We're not quite a comprehensive engineering school. There's a few key ones we're missing, like industrial, but we're a very diverse set of majors, and they are all very strong. The electrical engineering computer science department actually has 5 of the degree programs that are listed there. Data science is brand new, and it's added to computer science, computer engineering, electrical engineering, and systems and control are all part of that one department. So like a lot of places, we are really working on what it means to be an engineer in the future era. I see what I took with me to my freshman year is evidenced on the table here in the slide rules. And we honor the past, but we also are really, really keen about the future and what do we need to do with these students. And so I was delighted to see that you're going to have dinner and a chance to go to ThinkBox. So this is a 7-story building, 60,000 square feet, represents a $42 million investment, all raised from alums, which is pretty remarkable. And it is a makerspace, but it's more than a makerspace. You see the top 2 floors there are services for entrepreneurs and then business incubation. We really have worked hard to develop an innovation culture on our campus. And by the way, about half the users here come from engineering, and the other half of the users come from around campus and in the community. It's 100% open access. You don't have to be affiliated with the university in any way to make use of all the facilities that are in here. So it's a really helpful thing between the university and the community. And so take some time to wander around, ask the students you see some questions. I think you'll be really impressed. I am every time I go. That is our mandatory closing slide. But I just tacked this one on again. In the summer, it's absolutely beautiful around here, especially at sunset. And so with that, I just would really like to add my welcome to the group, and we are delighted to be hosting.
Thank you so much. Thanks. I really appreciate your being here. He stole much of what I was going to talk about, but you know, I've got a few words to say, so. It's his task to anticipate what junior faculty are going to say. Actually, I have been told the safety briefing has to come first. So a couple of things. Exit lights, mark the way out. If there's a fire, follow the exit lights. In a medical emergency, don't hesitate to call 911. University of Hospitals of Cleveland is right around the corner. It is a perfectly good place. They will respond to your emergencies well. I did much of my own medical training there, and I can tell you my faculty and I are all retired from there, so you don't have to worry about us. The current physicians will take good care of you. Bathrooms are right over here. Food is downstairs. You saw that. Okay. And ride lists for tonight's banquet and for tomorrow's ThinkBox tours will be provided. So if you are able to take people, get onto the ride list. If you need a ride, then check there. Okay. At registration, so it's downstairs now. Well, so you'll find that. If you need a ride, if you can give a ride, please let them know. HAMSI and this conference are part of a cosmic chain of amateur radio being that really could not have been predicted even a few years ago. The current state of real science and real engineering being done in amateur radio by amateur radio operators and by fellow travelers who aren't licensed yet. Really is absolutely amazing. And collegiate amateur radio, especially as now being supported by the ARRL Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative, is really extraordinary. WADDU is right there pitching. This is the era of the internet, of large data. That's the kind of thing that you're going to be hearing about today. The ability to collect data, the ability to process it and disseminate it. These would have been happy projections at best 10 years ago, and it's really been a treat watching amateur radio change over the years. For this conference, we thank the National Science Foundation for its support. We certainly appreciate opening comments, and I've got some other introductions since I already largely lost my talk about what CASE was. But I will say we've had a bunch of Nobel laureates, including an early one, Albert Michelson, in physics. And when you wander around the CASE quad, we will point out to you the Michelson fountain, the memorial to the Michelson-Morley experiment, which is a perfectly dandy quarter-wave monopole on 20 meters. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're working on it. When you don't have water in the fountain, but the timing works out pretty well, really, for that. Keith Glennon was the first administrator of NASA and university president. The building we are in is named for him. He was an alumnus of the Sheffield School at Yale in the 20s, so we're wondering if radio was still in the air there after Lee DeForest's work on Hertzian waves. Don't you wish we still called them Hertzian waves? That's good. CASE launched a lot of Nobelists, and interestingly launched chemical rubber publishing. We're going to have some giveaways from chemical rubber and some publicity from them. We thank them for doing that. It's the 100th anniversary of the first Handbook of Chemistry and Physics as published on this campus. They were very nice about sending us some swag. The CASE Amateur Radio Club itself is one of the oldest student organizations on campus. It dates back to the 1930s. It has had 3 homes. The previous 2 buildings it was in are both razed. And maybe that's because we left. The buildings really weren't needed anymore. Since the 1960s, it's been on the roof of Glennon. I appreciate, yeah, thanks. It's been on the roof of Glennon since the 1960s. The station license W8URD had expired. The FCC somehow smiled upon a new application and handed us W8EDU, the educational station, long before there was an EDU domain on the internet or the ARPANET even had begun. So, wow, we're W8EDU. 20 years into that, W8WTS showed up. Yeah. I want everybody to know Jim Gelm. He's a lot of the reason that W8EDU is still on the roof of Glennon. He and others saw the station into its modern era and used it hard. He's going to give a longer history of it tomorrow morning, but we congratulate him on the tower projects, on the carpentry of the interior, and on the station's reputation as a contest station. We appreciate it. Like most collegiate amateur radio stations, WEDU didn't get much use for about 20 years. From the early years of the internet to about 10 years ago, there just wasn't much collegiate amateur radio. This one didn't go away. It's an odd circumstance of Jim tending after it, it being on the roof where a succession of department chairmen never visited. And really? Is there something on the roof? What do you guys do up there? You guys have roof access? There are undergraduate students who have keys to the roof? You got to be kidding me. Yeah, okay. Am I putting words in your mouth? No, I'm not. Yeah. Bob Leskovic is not here, but he was another real partner for Jim and for me in keeping this going. Then it got rediscovered by then undergraduates first Nathaniel Vishner, KB1QHX. We regret that QHX is not a Q code, but in the old aviation system of Q codes, I will point out that it's in between QHQ. May I make an approach to your aerodrome? And QHZ, shall I circle your aerodrome? Yeah, it's wonderful, yes. Christina Collins, rather, is up there, KD8OXT, Tyler Lassiter, did he make it? He did not. He'll be here later. KJ4HNN, and there are others who recharted it. The unlicensed department chairman, that is a species of department chairman, the unlicensed department chairman. Ken Laparo is kind of the current sort of patron saint-elect of the Amateur Radio Club. He helped us get it back on its feet, get some funding available, get it into curriculum. We are nearly unique among collegiate amateur radio clubs in having direct curricular involvement and, in fact, research involvement. You're going to be hearing about some of that work soon. We have a new slate of officers. We will be introducing club officers, but, you know, really for right now, if current club officers of WADDU could at least stand and take a quick bow. Madam President, Vice President, Secretary Treasurer, others. It's a lot of work keeping this going, and we really appreciate it. Got to keep my cue card straight. We have changed the undergraduate and career paths of many students. We have changed the career paths of certain adjunct faculty. Okay, nobody got that one. Christina's smiling a little bit, yeah. We have sent CWRU hams off into industry, government, advanced studies, faculty positions. We've won some contests. We have licensed several hundred undergraduate and case community amateur radio operators. We will license some more tomorrow afternoon. We're looking forward to it. We were invited to the New England Convention 2017 to represent the Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative. From there to HamSci 2018, where we ran a program on live signal visualization through complex plane phasers. We had a wonderful time. We were asked if we could do HamSci this year, but that was where we met Professor Nathaniel Frissell, W2NAF, Assistant Research Professor at the New Jersey Institute of Technology, Center for Solar Terrestrial Research. I'm going to let him discuss HamSci and its history. I remind everyone we are not too far over the horizon from the 2024 eclipse. As Jim might say, be there or be in the dark, right? If you're not ready by 1:30 in the afternoon, Monday, April 8th, 2024, show's over. We don't get another one to do this research on in my lifetime anyway. Some here will get another. We are proud to be working with Nathaniel. We congratulate him on his Hamvention Amateur Radio Operator of the Year award. We raise a cup of microphone kindness to Nathaniel. We wish Mazel Tov to him and to his wife Rachel on their new baby Anthony, who does not yet have a call sign, but he does. He will soon, but he does already have his regulation Hamvention hard hat with a 2-meter pickle house sticking out of it. Yeah. Once again, if you're sick, call 911. If there's a fire, follow the exit lights. If you're hungry, go downstairs. For physiologic needs, as the FAA puts it, go down the corridor here. And we have Nathaniel Frissell.
Thank you very much, David. I really appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. It's really a great testament to the amateur radio and the professional scientific community for all of you coming together to really make this happen, because it's really the community that is contributing all of the talks, contributing the data, doing the engineering, making everything work. So without all of you, this would not happen. So thank you. So next, I'd also really like to thank Case Western, David Kazdan, and Christina Collins back there, and Nathaniel Vishner. They have done all of the logistics, so anything you see here in terms of the beautiful breakfast we had this morning, to all of the great facilities we have, it's all of their hard work, so I'd really like to thank them. So the ham radio science citizen investigation started a few years ago while I was a graduate student at Virginia Tech. At that time, I had already been working with RBN data to just show you could see like solar flare effects in there. And then I learned that Magda Moses, KM4EGE, and Greg Earl, they were working on solar eclipse project, but not using amateur radio at the time. And so I went over to them. I said, I bet we can use this RBN data to create a contest-like event to help study the ionosphere. And so they liked the idea, and then that's how the Solar Eclipse QSO party came about, and that's also how HamSci got started. And so as you can see, we have 3 main objectives at HamSci, and one is to advance scientific research and understanding through amateur radio activities. So we're really trying to push scientific knowledge. We're trying to encourage the development of new technologies to support this research, which our involvement with Tapper and the amateur radio community, which you guys are so good at engineering, that's really addressing this second point. And we want to provide educational opportunities for both the amateur community and the general public. So HamSci is really an opportunity for the hams and the general public to both learn and participate in the scientific process and the scientific community. I'd also like to stress that, this is really a two-way thing. So we need to make sure that the ham radio community benefits from this, and we also need to make sure that the scientific community benefits from this. So it really needs to be two-way. And I'm hoping that we do that by providing fun activities like the Solar Eclipse QSO Party, and those by giving projects like the Space Weather Station for hams to work on to help engineer collect data. And then we've actually been able to take some of this already and get it through the peer review process. And we have a number of peer review papers that have already come out just based on the efforts so far. So that's really fantastic. Next, I'd also like to thank the New Jersey Institute of Technology and the Center for Solar Terrestrial Research, because it's been through their support that I've really been able to spend the time to engage the community like this, to go to Hamvention, go to Tapper, DCC, run this. Without their support, this would not happen. And I'd also like to thank the National Science Foundation for providing support for this workshop as well, because they have really made it possible for many of us to come together and really have both professional scientists and amateur radio operators all be able to sit together in the same room. So thank you very much. And I think that's about it for the moment. Why don't we take a couple minutes just to run to the restroom, because we're going to have the talk starting right at 9 a.m. And this will give you a chance to go out there, come right back, and then we're going to have about 4 talks in a row. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to show you. Today's schedule is on the internet. So if you go to the hamsci.org webpage and you go to HamSci Workshop and you go to View Agenda, the whole agenda for the day is right here. So any information regarding what talks are being given, what the titles are, the abstracts, you click on this, you get the abstract for the different talks. It's all here on the internet. If you go back to the main workshop page, it answers questions like who are the keynote speakers, where is the meeting location and parking, where is the banquet tonight, how do you get around. So all of that information is on the internet. So take 5 minutes, take care of your physiological needs, and we will be right back. Thank you.